Hey there, everybody. It's a little late on Sunday, but I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing great. Let's get unscripted. I'm Jenna O'Malley. I'm glad to have you here. We have a poll going on there over on the chat end. You get to dictate what my next nail color is. I've been using the same one since you all told me to dye them like Frey's red eye when Ezekiel's present. Hello, Jersey. It's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing great. If you're here and you want to add any questions or comments live or on the replay, go ahead and drop them in the appropriate box. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, Kickstarter is launching a month sooner than I had originally announced a week ago. Or the last time we did this, I should say. A friend of mine, Rhiannon Clutch, author, reminded me about Heartstrings and Hardbacks, a new open call for romance projects that Kickstarter is hosting. And the premise of all of this is to get romance writers kind of a little bit of a boost of notice since so many of us are using it on Kickstarter nowadays. So instead of launching on 8/8, we are now launching on 7/8, July 8th. So I'm pulling it back a whole month sooner. And what would the Kickstarter include? Just a couple of reminders. We did book 1 and 2 in ebook and book 1 in paperback last year because book 2 ebook was an unlockable to go with book 1. So technically, book 2 has not been fully part of a Kickstarter yet. This is the, it's getting to be with the big boys, and I better not say that. Bjorn would not be happy if I called Ian a big boy. Anyway, and not him. Scotland versus Sweden. What else can I say? Hey, my friends. It's so good to see all of you. Jess and Kay. Hello, hello. But yes, Heartstrings and Hardbacks is going to feature and help any romance writers on Kickstarter get some notice. So I'm kind of joining that. I think Rhiannon's also partaking in it. Any other romance authors who plans to have a launch during the month of July with Kickstarter, you need to go ahead and check this out. Also, if you're just a reader, you need to go ahead and check this out when it goes live, because I imagine it's going to really focus on a lot of newer authors who are using the Kickstarter space. And I'm really excited. It's going to make things tighter, but I'm really excited to finally sit down and get all 5 books to this series, season 1 out. It would be all of them in paperback, along with 2 of the side quest books. Side quest 1 is The Winged Ones. It's side stories about all these secondary characters that show up a lot. Some of you know Toos, you know Bear, you know Mardigan. It's that crew. Yes, I was wondering. She and I are kind of talking backstage back and forth a little bit about it. I'm really excited about it. So the other spinoff, actually, it's not so much a spinoff, so much as it explains something that happens during book 2. Frey, who's, red eye color we did here, he disappears for 6 weeks. Like when they needed him most, disappears for 6 weeks. Where he goes to in that realm's time, he portal hops. Thanks, Frey. Add portal hop into this, why don't you? And he goes ahead and ends up in that realm for 3 years. So it's actually 3 years of his life he spends there and 6 weeks of everybody's else's lives. And literally 1 year is 1 act. And I'm like, oh my God, stuff that happens in book 2 and 3 actually makes more sense now. So I'm excited to be sharing that as well as part of what Rhiannon mentioned there. So Kickstarter's being moved up. As far as swag goes, I want to know what y'all want. I can do stickers. I can do mugs. I can do t-shirts. I said I was going to make it a mock of my book box. So I'm looking for suggestions of what people would want. Sorry about that, everybody. Had sneezed for a second there. And I apologize if I don't click the mic again next time. But it also might depend on stretch goals as to what you get and when. Suntroa is working on finishing up Aria's sketch, which you probably won't get to see Aria's character sketch until the Kickstarter gets much closer, because his character video and the announcement video for the winged ones will be one of the last ones I do, kind of as like, look at the bonus content. And I was wondering if you would. I know I have some very, very crafty people who live within a couple of hours of me who I need to sit down and have a conversation with. I'm also going to be talking with Merlin's Gem, who supplied all of the Sodalite, or not all of, like half of the Sodalite and Lapis Lazuli tumbles from the first Kickstarter. I'm going to ask him if he could wholesale me a bunch of gemstones. I'm probably going to stick with Lapis Lazuli and Sodalite for book 1. Neftiri, Egypt. She does the astral magic thing. Why not? Book 2 will probably be Peridot, because that's Bjorn's eye color. Book 3, we're looking at Mahogany Obsidian, because Frey's eye color. Well, I guess Lapis would also be Ian's eye color, but whatever. And then I'm undecided of what eye color to do for book 4 and 5, or what crystal to assign for book 4 and 5. And I'm going to probably be going over and talking to Tony and getting his suggestions. I also wanted to reach out to a manufacturer and get a couple of tiny odds and ends. When I met with them at a gem show last year, they suggested doing chakra tassel bookmarks. And I'm like, ooh, I like that, because that's also playing on the fact that I have characters whom are LGBTQIA, and is a nod to the pride representation. So we shall see. Kay, I might be talking to you about those too. Anyway, because, trying to make it as nice of a quality for as customer friendly as a price is the mindset. I did go ahead and make sure that the scenes that Suntroa had for the coloring art that he's going to do to go with the Kickstarter are pretty on point. Literally, I'm like, here's the scene you're drawing one picture from. And depending on how things go with this Kickstarter, he has pitched the idea of doing a Legends and Lattes, look up that book, Legends and Lattes, kind of themed hardback, because I think that would be really cool, in my opinion. That's just me. That's me. Oops, that's not a pretty Google link. Let's go get a prettier link, Google. He pitched that idea to me, since this style of cover is pretty consistently popular right now. If you want to go ahead and see the example of Legends and Lattes there. And if this Kickstarter goes well, maybe next year we'll do a hardback and audiobook release. And I don't know what I'm going to do for the audiobooks, because I could read it, but I don't trust my editing skills. I love to video edit. Audio editing is a whole nother time sink that I don't know if I would have the ability to do in a year for 5 books, because my books be long. So we shall see if it's audio, book, and hardback, or just a hardback if Kickstarter goes well this year. So what I'm kind of hinting is, if you want me to do not only the book boxes, but you want me to do the Kickstarter in another edition, we got to get this one filled. Ooh, see, that's kind of what I think Kay was suggesting here with the stitched embroidered planner clips. Sarah Cannon showed something very similar on both Heart Breathings and over on her main Sarah Cannon channel as well. So those are definitely really, really Yeah, like what Sarah did for Beautiful Demons. Those are kind of things I'm inspired by. I also looked at the manufacturer I spoke with last year said what you could do is um uh we were trying to play on Soul Care, a cup of Soul Care weekend. And essentially you would get a mug, and inside the mug you would get like some sort of chakra item, you would get a crystal, you would get an essential oil thing, you would get something like what Kay was suggesting, or like what Jess is, little tiny things that would fill up the cup, plus you get the autographed book, and you get at the first stretch goal, I think you get the ebook of the coloring pages. And then on the second stretch goal, I'm going to do an actual printed version of the coloring pages, where it is like a full character art book. For those of you who are anime fans, you might recognize these character art books. And the one that inspired me the most, I actually own, and I didn't have this link ready. Boo on me. It was inspired by an art book that I own for the series Gundam Wing. And literally you have like character, but think like a 90s boy band bio mag in the 80s and 90s. You've got a little bit of detail about who is who. You've got some exclusive character art, things of that nature. Never before seen written scenes that might not be, tiny things like that. And of course, the art book I have, you can only find on eBay because I bought it at Otakon in Baltimore like in 2003. So if you want to kind of see a example of what the printed version would be, it would be like a fully colorable interactive book, but that has character art and stuff in it. And that I'm looking really forward to, and I hope it gets unlocked because it'll be I was wondering if anyone has that book. Yes, I was wondering if anyone would recognize. Good to see you, Heather. Good to see you. The planning of it won't take long because I make workbooks like crazy since I'm a teacher. It would just pull on those skills, or had been a teacher for a long time, so I just pull on those skills. But at the same time, as you can tell, we're addressing multiple things here, not just the moving of the Kickstarter date and the building of the everything, but getting tired. In the since December, January, I've put the full draft of book 3, book 4, and I just put up chapter 6 of book 5 yesterday. I'm almost doing a chapter or 2 a day some days just to get the drafts done because I feel behind. So it's kind of forcing me to look at what are my rituals, my routines, my treatment of my writing time, and what that has been. Earlier on my other channel, the Soul Bard Collective, I was talking about how releasing attachment is sometimes an issue for those of us who are writers and creatives. And I need to be more intentional about. That's the wording, Jenna. You'll get it. I need to be more intentional about what I do with my mindset before I actually set into a writing mode. One of my favorite traditional authors of all time, and someone who really influenced my books, hence why Malice's name is spelled kind of the way it's spelled, J.R. Ward. She says in an interview that she did way back that I will replay time and time again. For 9 years, I just sat my butt in the chair and I did the thing until it was done and didn't take a sick day and blah, 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 blah. I was committed. I was dedicated. And she talks about she would go running. She would listen to hardcore rap, which is why she references so much rap when she writes her Black Dagger Brotherhood series. And I'm like, her writing ritual time, just in a couple of sentences, sounds glorious. Why Why am I not like that? What do I need to do? So that got me into spring cleaning mode on how I get my brain and my butt in the chair to do the thing and work together. Hi, my friend. It's good to see you. I was literally just editing Hunted earlier today. Nicole and Lauren are working on a second edition, I believe, rebranding. And I saw the new cover today. It's gorgeous, by the way, just saying. And I'm working through another pass on the edit. I'm so proud of you. Like, if you want to see two sisters who are kicking butt, Lauren and Nicole, go say hello. Go say hello. For sure, for sure. Normally it's Lauren behind the writing sisters and Nicole behind the blind sisters. They do operate two channels together. They both show up on each channel. You get what I mean. Topics are what they are. But with the spring cleaning, it's not just the house. It's not just the car. It's not just HB90 being here and the changeover of the quarter and the redo of the Kanban board and am I actually going digital or not versus paper planning. I'm literally looking at my morning routines, and I almost did a vlog on my morning routines and my evening routines, and then I realized I was not resonating with what I was trying to force myself to do. Nor am I resonating with what I do to get into my mindset to write. For me, I realized if I do something with my physical voice and my body or my body before I write, I'm much more efficient a writer. So yes, I know. I keep telling Jody Jean that because Jody Jean's worked in education and so has Sarah and a couple of other of us. We've been teachers in different capacities and the world is our classroom now. Hi, Cheesecake Man. It's good to see you. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Writing rituals. There we go. With writing rituals, I am very much getting back to singing and dancing. And I was doing jazzercise. It's not jazzercise. It's boy band exercise videos. They take boy band music and it's like a walking jazzercise movement video, and I love it. If you look up the channel, I'm trying to remember the name of the channel. Get Fit with Rick is one of them that I often frequent. Yes. They have a New Kids on the Block Backstreet Boys one that actually my heartbeat goes ba-dum, 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 ba-dum in my ears. And I can't breathe with the asthma very well. So if you want a good workout, 90s kids, you're welcome. But it's not, I'm going back to my songs and my playlists that got me into writing these books in the first place. A lot of Hammerfall, a lot of Delane, a lot of Within Temptation, Nightwish, European metal bands for the win, and smatterings of Jam Project from Japan, and a little bit of Gact, and a little bit of Keiko Kitagawa thrown in there for good measure. And I'm like, okay, if I can sing this or do yoga to this or clean to this, I'm getting back into my writing a little bit easier. Good day, my dear friend. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us there. So I'm starting to track and look at what gets me in the mindset most for which character with book 5, because book 5 is really painful. The dark to the series thoroughly kicks in by about book 2's end and book 3's begin. And book 5 is trying to make up for that and get us heading towards the sunshine a little bit. And I'm having a hard time connecting with certain characters. Ian, who I have never had an issue connecting with before in the whole novel. So suddenly we're coming down to the end of the final book and everybody's like, dude, Ian's not happy. And I'm like, yes, I know Ian's very not happy, but we're going to get through it. So I'm trying to see what I can do to balance out my before writing time to get me in the right headspace, to be fair and be a good first reporter on behalf of my characters. A lot of great bands indeed. Yes, I have quite the eclectic music tastes. That should be another unscripted. Jen is eclectic. We should go through song by song and do a lyric analysis. I will prove how too nerdy I am. Some of you might like that. You are not wrecking your MC's characters' lives in book 1. You are not. Just listen to the downloads. I call them downloads. When some people call it scrying, some people call it channeling, some people call it my characters took over. So I call it downloads because it literally sometimes feels like when the characters and I are getting along that I can see the world through their heads as if I'm playing a video game as them. So I equate it to downloadable content, DLCs in video games, because that's literally what it feels like. Do each of your characters have their own playlists? No. Book 1 for Kickstarter last year got a bookmark. And I have leftovers that this year's Kickstarter gets as bonus items that I'll throw in until supplies last, where it takes you to a hidden playlist on this channel that takes you song by song, chapter by chapter. I will be doing that for all 5 books this time. I will be giving book 2 through 5 their own bookmarks and their own playlists to match. It's worth the time. And yes, Weird Al wrote that song about your resident soul writer and lady nerd. Yes, he did. I do like all my sandwiches with mayonnaise. Thank you. Hot dogs even. Don't look at me at that way and don't knock it till you try it. It tastes divine with Italian sausage. Why not try it with hot dogs? Just saying. Aioli tastes good on occasion, depending on how much garlic and how well made. That would be fun to diverse music library. Now, I am probably releasing those playlists over to Ream's Stories. Ream's Stories is about to get a audio hub link that will be only for, I'm redoing how people will get the audio that I do record over time for certain tiers. The Facebook group is getting moved to another tier because of what Facebook is doing to change StreamYard, and that's a whole different workshop I'll be doing later. Yay, playlists! You all participated last year, so you know about that playlist. You know about that playlist. The first song on the playlist is Never Enough by Epica. And the last song on that that was chapter 1. The last chapter song was Worlds Apart, cover Beast in Black and Halocene. I could be wrong. I think so. I'll have to check the playlist, but Ream Stories is going to eventually get those playlists linked into its own like story block. And then the book 1 audio playlist will have its own, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, and so on. Yes, there is a season 2 that I hope to write later in 2025 because I need to finish the spinoff that goes with that series that I have 3 partial books written for, Vitae Elangica. I want to get my lit RPG out and over with. Of course, hot dogs. See, not the bologna. I'm not a fan of bologna, probably because I ate a lot of struggle sandwiches as a kid. And if you understand that statement, I love you and hugs. Black for sure, I'm sure. Jess, you snapped their glow stick like Mel told you, but you're going to show them how to fix it so that they can be a little glowworm all their own without the snapping involved. Exactly. And if you want to hang out with my friend Mel Power, check out Power Play Press or Scroll and Scribe. Yeah, yes. Oh, it's a good song. It's a good song. Book 2, book 2's opening song would be Delane Sing to Me, featuring Marco Hayatala. I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry, Marco, if I said it wrong. Formerly of Nightwish. And that's from their April Rain or from their Human Condition album. I can't remember which. And oh my gosh, it's literally why in book 1 I say Bjorn and Rochelle haven't talked for 29 years, is because of that song. So enjoy. Spinoff. I currently have, if you're part of the Facebook group, you know there's a list over there for Amaranth's Library of the preferred reading order. Apparently, I started writing this in the middle of the arc. Sorry, guys. There's either an unnamed duology or trilogy. I'm not sure right yet. It depends on if Cleopatra and her sister want 1 or 3 books each. They're queens. We'll leave it up to them later. Then there's season 1. Arya and the Winged Ones technically takes place before and during this, and a little after season 1. Then you have season 2, which is all about the kids from season 1. And alongside it, Vitae Elangica is what happens to the humans. And then in the future, you have Regolith's Relics. So if you like the Gundam universe, you can see where I've been heavily influenced by their timeline or the Zelda timeline. I don't need an Ocarina of Time split in my timeline. I need to not get ideas. I need to not get ideas. Last night he said, "Psst, when you're done with 6 weeks, but 3 years. His name is Frey. And as we all know, occasionally on sprints, because he pops up and tells us his work here is done." Normally it's his fault. The tech gremlins show up probably. But so I'm doing a lot of spring cleaning in my writing rituals, in the Kickstarter, how I'm running it, how I want to do this book box, and collaborations. I have some really cool things coming up that I kind of can't talk about, kind of can. I have a podcast or 2 during the middle of April that I will be very excited to share links about in the future with people that I'm recording with. I've also been invited to attend a conference in California. That is all I will say here for now. If you're on my Facebook, you know more. So this quarter is going to be very busy. And I'm like, okay, can I do all of this? We shall see. And the spring cleaning is really helping because it's making me realize that spring comes around every time, once a year, every year for a reason. And in her glory, she makes us double check ourselves in a very subtle, quiet way. She makes us double check ourselves and say, have you planned ahead, not just for this quarter, but that whole farming analogy? What you plant now, where's it going to be at the end of the summer? It's going to be really good, and I'm down to clown and ready to see where it's going to rock. Yes, y'all's the rock stars, my friends. You all are. You show up around here for everyone, and this is the other part of it. Admitting we show up. And we don't goof off when we show up. We sometimes do. Mom will remind us of the goof off as needed as much as the can doing. For sure. If you don't know Angela Hester books, you should be following. Definitely. And yeah. We got a lot of work ahead. But when we were kids, most of us enjoyed going out in the yard and playing in the dirt and learning it's okay to get dirty so long as you do the spring cleaning to balance it. And y'all been rocking it. I'm very proud of all of you. I'm very, very blessed to be able to do what I do. And I'm grateful to have all of you on my journey. Thank you for allowing me to play a very, very glimmer, small speck of a role in yours by showing up here as often as you do. Take care of yourself. You've always been worth it.
Thank you to our lovelies on Reading Stories over at Amaranth's Library and the Myrna Private Collection. Whether you're a human ally, sunwalker, bard, songweaver, merry misfit, or more, thank you for subscribing to our ranks. We thank you for all you do to support us. Want to join our endeavors? Head over to reamstories.com/Myrna Private Collection. That's reamstories.com/MERNA Private Collection, all one word, where you can access all of my books and more long before they are available at retailers and vendors. Hope to hang out with you there soon.